In 2019, I was an unhappy financial analyst, university graduate who felt completely stuck with where I was going. And fast forward to today, I'm the founder of Sigma School, a coding education startup that grew from zero to over 80,000 US dollars per month in the revenue at around 80% profit margins, all completely bootstrapped. Our work has been featured by The Edge, BFM Radio, Astro Awani, Vulcan Post, and so many other media outlets in Malaysia. We've helped over 100 people switch into tech careers, and we're working with top companies to recruit talents from our school. So how did this happen? In this video, I'm going to break down the marketing funnel strategy and the first principles approach to business growth. And this is what took me from over 200,000 US dollars in burnt cash flow. Means I just literally burnt all this amount of money on my failed startups to changing my workflow to building profitable, scalable businesses. So if you're a young professional, an aspiring entrepreneur, or just someone stuck in a job that you hate, stick around, because by the end of this video, you will understand how to engineer a marketing funnel that consistently turns strangers into customers and how to build a business system that actually works. I'm Deric, by the way, and I'm a self-taught coder turned entrepreneur, and this is the funnel framework that changed my life. So what exactly is a marketing funnel? Let's start with the basics. What is a funnel? In simple terms, a marketing funnel is the step-by-step journey that turns a person who has never heard of you into a paying customer. So think of it like as a guided path. At the top of the funnel, you're probably grabbing attention, just making people aware of who you are. So lots and lots of people who just became aware of you and your brand. And in the middle, you're building interest and trust. So after getting to know you, you now need to become friends with them, right? And at the bottom, you're converting that trust into action, whatever the action may be. It could be a sign up or a purchase. It's called a funnel because it narrows at each stage. So many people might see an ad or content at the top. Fewer will engage further, and only a fraction will actually take action at the bottom of the funnel. The goal is to design this journey intentionally so that at each stage, you're maximizing the number of people who moves forward. So when I first launched Sigma School in 2022, I had only one coding course and 0 sales people. I had to find a way to sell education online at scale without personally pitching to every customer, which is what I did at the very start. And that was brutal because I was taking 8 hours of sales calls every single day. And that's crazy because me, the bottleneck to sales, and I couldn't reinvest my time into building the product, into building infrastructure, into training the team and whatsoever, right? And that's when I explored and discovered the power of an automated marketing funnel by setting up ads and content to attract prospects, a landing page to capture interest, and an email or today WhatsApp automation sequence to nurture and close my sales. And shortly, within the first year itself, the first few months itself, we made our first $100,000 in online revenue, completely automated without needing to speak to anybody, right? It was mind blowing for me, right? I woke up to enrollments coming in while I slept. And that was my biggest ha type of moment because I realized having a great funnel is like having a 24/7 sales team on standby if you build them right. However, early on in my career, I fell for a common myth. If I just get more traffic, so traffic could be visitors, eyeballs, or clicks, right? My business will grow. This was the mindset that I had this whole time, right? Many new entrepreneurs will probably be stuck in the same kind of thought process and think the same way. It's easy to assume that all you need is to somehow flood your website with visitors and magical things happen. They start buying, right? I learned the hard way that this is completely wrong because in today's world, traffic is a commodity. You can literally buy thousands of visitors via Facebook or Google ads in minutes. And in fact, as marketing expert Sabri Subi points out, we live in an age where you can go to a traffic supermarket and buy as many website visitors as you want. So if traffic is so easily available, why wasn't my business exploding just by running ads? Because traffic wasn't the problem. The real bottleneck was something else, conversion. And in other words, what happens after someone clicks? That's conversion. So basically what this means is you could actually pour in marketing dollars to get in visitors. But if I didn't have the right system, I didn't have the right offer to convert those visitors into customers and do it profitably, then more traffic would just be like pouring water into a leaky bucket. And this was a pivotal mindset shift for me because instead of asking, how can I get more traffic today? I always kind of rephrase and bring me back to start asking, how can I make sure the current traffic converts better? And that's the core of funnel thinking, optimizing the journey first, so that when you do scale up traffic, you're not wasting it. And ironically, once your funnel converts well, getting traffic becomes the easy part. You can confidently buy ads knowing that 1 ringgit will bring in 2 ringgit, 5 ringgit, or more back out. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. So let's talk a bit about how to actually convert those visitors, starting with the toughest crowd, cold traffic. Cold traffic literally means people who has never met you, never heard of your brand, and don't trust you yet. Imagine a random person on the internet seeing an ad about your product. That's cold traffic. Early on in my journey, I attempted to sell to cold traffic too fast. I run an ad saying, come and join my coding course. And guess what? Crickets. Nobody bothered to consider, because who on earth was this Deric guy to them? Why should they care about Sigma School? What the hell even is Sigma School? I had not earned any trust or attention. And I eventually learned a guiding principle, which is fast selling doesn't work with cold traffic. Asking a stranger to buy immediately is like asking someone to marry you on a first date. You need to warm people up first. So how do you master cold traffic? By providing value before asking for a sale. That's a must. This is where the funnel's top and middle stages come in. Instead of pitching my 20,000 ringgit bootcamp to a cold lead upfront, I invite them into my world gently. For example, we offer a 7-day free trial of our coding program to get a taste of the content. We give them a 6 projects in 6 days kind of free trial, no credit card needed. We also create a crap ton of free content, coding tutorials, career guides, success stories, things that genuinely help people before we ever ask for a single cent. And the goal is to educate, inspire, or solve a small problem for the prospect. And by doing that, you accomplish 2 things. Number 1, you prove that you're legit and you're actually helpful. Number 2, you build reciprocity and trust. The viewer starts thinking, hey, I learned something from Sigma School. They know their stuff. And only after warming up do we present the paid offering. This approach is often called a lead magnet or a value first funnel. In my case, the lead magnet is the free trial and a ton of free coding resources. And yours could be a free ebook or a webinar or a mini course, anything that actually delivers real value and directly addresses a pain point for your audience. And once a cold lead has consumed that and has gotten value, they're no longer completely cold because they know who you are and you've helped them before. And now they're much more likely to listen to your pitch for a paid solution. So the lesson here is do not propose on the first date. Give before you ask, warm the lead up. All right. So now you've warmed up your audience and you've earned their attention and trust. Now you need to convert that into a sale. And here's the hard truth that I learned. Even the best marketing tactics cannot save a mediocre offer. You can have beautifully optimized web pages, the latest ad targeting hacks, whatever, right? Your offer is the core of your funnel. It's the value proposition that makes someone say, I'll be crazy to pass this up. You want to make them think that. So it's stupid to reject your offer, right? So what makes an offer compelling? It's not just a low price or a long list of features. In fact, competing on price is usually a losing game unless you're the lowest in the market. There's no benefit to being the second lowest in price. A truly compelling offer is one that speaks directly to your customers' biggest desires and pain points and removes the main barriers that hold them back from buying. Let me share how we crafted our offer at Sigma School. We knew our target audience, basically young professionals or recent graduates who want a career in tech or they just want to have a better life. They desperately wanted good jobs in tech, but they were afraid of wasting time and money on education that might not pay off. They were skeptical because many had seen friends spend tens of thousands of dollars on degrees or courses and still end up jobless or underpaid. And this insight led us to design an offer so strong, it almost sounded too good. Learn tech in 3 months, land a job, or your money back. And in other words, if our student do not get a job after they graduate bootcamp, they get all of their money back if they don't get hired within 6 months. When we first rolled out this offer, I'll be honest, it was scary. Right? I thought, are we actually going to do this? What if everyone asked for a refund? Can we actually deliver on this promise? But that fear was a sign that we were on the right track. If the founder and the guarantee does not keep you up at night or the founder up at night, then the offer isn't strong enough. It needs to keep you up at night. A compelling offer should feel a bit daring. It shows that you truly stand behind your product. And our bet paid off because that single offer, the job or money back guarantee, made our services irresistible to the right prospects. It directly tackled their biggest fear of wasting money and time and their biggest desire of getting a high paying tech job. And suddenly enrolling in our program was a no-brainer because either they land a tech job, which is their goal, or they lose nothing. It's an offer so good that only a lunatic would refuse to buy, as classic marketeer Claude Hopkins would say. If you're crafting your own offer, ask yourself, what's the crazy, sexy deal here that you can make? And how can I make it so appealing that people feel stupid saying no to? And that usually involves piling on value and solving the exact problem that your customer has. And in our case, it's training plus a guaranteed outcome. So hand in hand with a compelling offer is the concept of a risk reversal. This simply means removing the risk of your customer and taking on yourself. And in our example, the money back guarantee is the ultimate risk reversal because it tells potential students that we're so confident in our program that we bear all the risk. If it doesn't work for you, you don't pay a single cent. And why is this powerful? It's because one of the biggest obstacles to any buyer is fear. Fear of wasting money, fear of being scammed, fear of the product not working. And by offering a strong guarantee, you alleviate that fear. You're essentially saying to them, look, I know this will work. And if it doesn't, I'll pay the price, not you. I have skin in the game with you. I win only if you win, right? So many business owners are initially terrified of offering guarantees. What if people take advantage, right? And I certainly had those thoughts too. But here's what I found out, because if you truly have a good product, very few people will actually claim a refund. And in our case, our curriculum is robust and we do actually help students get jobs. So refund requests have been extremely rare. And when someone doesn't actually land a job, we want to refund them. Right? If they graduated, they tried their best and they can't get a job, we will refund them, because I feel bad taking their money, because that also means we didn't meet the promise that we had to them, right? A strong guarantee can actually triple the sales and is only called in about 5% of the time, right? The math makes sense. So the increase in sales far outweighs the small cost of occasional refunds. Beyond the numbers, offering a guarantee forces you to focus on actually delivering real results. It sets a high bar for all of us involved. If we promise jobs, we pretty darn well better build the program, that the employer network, the support systems to make that happen. It created a positive pressure internally to ensure quality as well. In your business, think about what guarantees you can make. It doesn't have to be a 100% money back type guarantee. It can be a free trial, a money back in advance, essentially, right? A warranty, an outcome-based promise. The key is to flip the risk from the customer to you. So remember this, make them an offer so good that they cannot refuse, and back it up with a guarantee so that they can never lose. If you do that, start watching your audience hesitations melt away. They will stop hesitating. All right. So by this point, you have an interesting prospect. Thank you to Value First Marketing, right? An irresistible offer and a strong guarantee. The next question in any savvy buyer's mind is, can you really deliver on this promise, right? You can say everything under the sun, but if people don't trust that you can actually deliver, they won't even bother with your money back guarantee or your risk reversals. This is where proof comes in. All the ways you demonstrate that you're credible and that your product or service works as advertised in a funnel. Proof elements can be testimonials, case studies, reviews, credentials, media features, personal story, anything that convinces someone that says, okay, these guys are the real deal. I feel safe with them. When I first started, I didn't have much proof. Sigma School was a new name. I was a new name. I had no famous endorsements, no big success stories, no press features. So I leaned heavily on my personal story as a proof of concept. I learned the code without a 6 degree, and I landed a bunch of really high paying 7-figure freelance software projects. And I told potential students, look, I did it. So I know what it takes to go from zero to even better than hired. I also hired software developers myself. So I showcased my background in education and tech to establish expertise, because I've been there and I've done that. As we got our first few students, I made sure to collect their feedback and success stories. So for example, one early student of ours, a former gig economy worker who went through our course and eventually became a full stack developer within 1.5 months without even completing the program. He got a job, right? I have another who was an ex-doctor from the UK's NHS who transitioned into a software development job as well. We started sharing these wins with permissions, of course, as testimonials, and seeing peers go through the program and succeed provided very significantly powerful social proof to the new prospects. Next would be getting featured in media. That was another boost, right? Whenever a trusted outlet covered us, it lent third-party credibility. We could say, hey, The Edge Malaysia wrote about our mission, and BFM 89.9, which is a business radio station, interviewed us about our business model and our learning systems, right? Those logos and quotes went onto our websites and marketing materials, and it helped skeptics feel, if the media finds this pretty trustworthy and noteworthy, I think it's legit, right? So it's just, what can you do to make people trust you even more? Little bit by bit, right? We even had Vulcan Post call us one of the most value for money coding bootcamps with our guarantee. Using these proof points in the funnel, your landing pages, your brochures, your webinars, they dramatically increase trust. And for you, think about what proof you can gather. If you're new, maybe it's your own result or a small pilot case study. If you're established, leverage every happy customer review, any expert endorsements, any statistics or awards that you have. Numbers help a lot too. I often mention that we hit our first 100K and then 80K US dollars per month in revenue using these methods, not to brag, but to illustrate that the funnel and offer actually worked in the market, and quantifiable outcomes. For example, X customers served or Y% achieved their goal. These things are gold for proof. Now let's switch perspective a little bit for a moment. We've been talking a lot about how to acquire customers, but equally important, 50% of the equation is what happens after the sale. A lot of marketeers make the mistake of thinking that the funnel ends when the customer pays. In reality, the funnel extends into the product experience and beyond. Delivering on your promises with excellence is crucial for 2 reasons. Number 1, it validates all the trust the customers placed in you, so they become repeat customers or referral sources. Number 2, it protects you from the downside side of those offers and guarantees. And in my case, if we take a student's money and then fail to help them get a job, we not only owe them a refund, we also hurt our reputation. On the flip side, if we do an amazing job and student lands, let's say a 5,000 or 6,000 ringgit per month software development job, they become a raving fan. They might refer their friends or give a glowing testimonial. So value delivery is a core part of the entire funnel strategy. Your product must get results and delight people. This might sound obvious, but it's worth stating that no marketing trick can save a business that doesn't genuinely help its customers. Practically for us, that meant constantly improving our curriculum, bringing in great mentors. We even connect students with engineers at big companies like Microsoft or Grab for mentorship and providing career support until each person succeeds. It's not easy. It took focus on building systems, hiring a dedicated team, and many iterations to get it right. In 2024, I stepped back to really work on the business, improving people, product, process, so that Sigma School could run and deliver value without me micromanaging every single step of the way. We're not perfect, but I think today we got a lot closer to the ideal of a self-sustaining organization that consistently churns out success stories. So for your business, ask yourself, does my value delivery match up to my promises? If you promise the moon and you deliver dust, no funnel can save you long term, right? But if you deliver the moon and maybe a few stars, your customers will love you and your business will naturally grow through positive word of mouth on top of your marketing. Happy customers are the best marketing funnel extension. They bring you more customers. So focus on that. So now that we've gotten our core pieces, which is traffic, offer, proof, you might wonder what kinds of funnel should you build. There's no one size fits all kind of funnel. The funnel needs to fit your business model and audience. Let me give you a few common types and mention what worked for us. So content funnel, which is inbound marketing, this is where you put out valuable content, think blogs, YouTube videos, podcasts that draws people in, then capture leads and nurture them. This works great if you invest time in content, which is something like what I'm doing now, right? Ali Abdal, a very famous personal development and productivity YouTuber, is a master of this. He gives tons and tons of free advice, which builds trust. Then some of his audience converts to his courses or products. At Sigma School, we did some content marketing via YouTube tutorials and LinkedIn posts, educating about tech careers. And over time, this has created an organic funnel of followers. We have around 20,000+ followers on Instagram today who eventually became customers. It's slow burn, but highly effective and cost efficient once it gets going. The next one will be lead magnet to email funnel. So this is what I did with the free trial and resource guides. You offer something free and valuable in exchange for an email. Then you send a sequence of helpful emails that also pitch your product. So for example, someone downloads our coding interview cheat sheet and joins our list. Then over the next 2 weeks, they get emails with tips on getting a tech job, success stories from our graduates, and eventually an invite to a webinar or a direct enrollment offer. Email funnels are fantastic for nurturing at scale because it's automated and you can educate people over time. The next would be a webinar or workshop funnel. This is a bit more direct. You invite cold leads to a free live or pre-recorded webinar where you deliver value. You teach something basically, and you pitch your product at the end. Webinars can warm up an audience fast. In 1 hour, someone can go from never heard of you to excited about buying if your presentation is good. We've run free coding workshops that not only taught a simple coding project, but also showed the audience the bigger journey to becoming a software developer. And naturally, we then offered our bootcamp as the next step. Those who attended already got a mini result, like coding out a simple app, saw our teaching style, made some friends maybe, and many decided to join the full-time program. Next one would be a free trial or a freemium funnel. Ours is a classic example. We let them start using the product with minimal friction. Many SaaS companies, software as a service companies, and online services do this too, right? Like free for 14 days, that upgrade. For us, it's a 7-day free access to some of our coding lessons, allows people to dip their toes into our world. The key is to engage them during that trial. We reach out, we offer small welcome sessions, we show them value of the full course. And the funnel here is add or referral first to sign up free, to experience value, to sales call or direct upgrade. It's very effective when your product itself is something people need to experience to appreciate. The next one would be a high ticket consultative funnel. So if you're selling something expensive like a high-end coaching or enterprise service, often the funnel involves a consultation step. For instance, an ad leads to a free strategy call booking. And on the call, you evaluate the prospects and pitch your offer. This is more human intensive. We did a bit of this when we first pivoted to the bootcamp model. I personally talked to early signups on the phone to ensure we were a good fit and to close the sale. And as we grew, we systemized it and even managed to automate a lot of the application forms and follow-up emails. But for high-touch sales, a human conversation funnel can be necessary. Now, I'm a former finance guy, so I can't resist talking about the numbers behind the funnel. And this is what we call funnel economics or unit economics, basically understanding the cost to acquire a customer and the value of that customer. So you know if your funnel is profitable. And this was game-changing for me once I implemented it. And here's a simple way to look at it. The first thing, cost per acquisition, right? CPA. How much do you spend in marketing to get one paying customer? This could include ad spend, marketing software, even sales commissions, all divided by the number of customers gained. For example, if I spend 1,000 ringgit on Facebook ads and I get 2 bootcamp students, my CPA is 500 ringgit per student. Next would be average order value, or AOV, or customer value, which is how much revenue do you earn from that customer on that initial purchase. In our case, say if the bootcamp tuition was 15,000 ringgit, net typical discounts, then that's our AOV for one student. If we run a different funnel where we're selling a shorter 1-day course for 1,000 ringgit, then the AOV for that is 1,000 ringgit. Lifetime value is if you have a repeat purchase or a natural flow of upgrades in courses or products, or a subscription model maybe, consider the long-term value of the customer. For simplicity, our students mostly pay once for the course, but in some businesses, a customer might buy again or subscribe again. And in our case, maybe a student has completed a data analytics bootcamp. They want to pay a little bit more for an AI bootcamp, and that's where we can upsell them, right? If your AOV is higher than your CPA, then you have a profitable funnel on the front end. That's the sweet spot. It means that you're basically printing money with marketing. For a long time, we've actually had a funnel where our CPA was just about equal to AOV. We would break even on the first sale because we gave hefty discounts and spent a lot on ads. That was fine because we had very low delivery costs since we ran cohorts in groups and with high margins. So plus some students would later purchase add-ons and refer friends, bringing more value at almost no cost, right? Self-liquidating offers where the initial sale covers the cost of acquisition are amazing because it means that you can spend aggressively on growth without bleeding cash. And in my journey, once I saw that our funnel was reliably bringing in customers at a sustainable CPA, I gained the confidence to scale. We went from spending a few hundred ringgit on a week on ads to thousands per day at one point, because we knew, for example, every 500 ringgit ad spend yields a paying student worth 15,000 ringgit. And when those numbers hold, you essentially have a money printing machine, and this allowed us to grow revenue fast. And of course, you have to watch your numbers like a hawk. If an ad campaign stops performing, or if your landing page conversion drops, your CPA can shoot up. We constantly tweak and split test things to keep the funnel healthy, but knowing your unit economics is empowering. If you can put $1 in and get $2 out, $5 or $10 out, you can scale to the moon basically. If you can't pay money to acquire a new customer, you don't have a business. So treat marketing spend not as a cost, but as an investment expecting a return. So do the math for your funnel, track your conversion rates at each stage, your CPA, your average revenue per customer. Once you find a combo that yields profit, that's when you step on the gas. And in my case, hitting that first $80,000 per month was a direct result of understanding our funnel economics and going all in to scale. We have reinvested a big chunk of our profits into more ads, hiring more marketing staff, and even expanded our offerings to increase lifetime value, like launching a mobile app and an AI course to upsell to our alumni. It's a balancing act. Scale too fast without infrastructure, you can crash your service quality. Scale too slow, you leave impact and money on the table. So I opted to scale steadily, about 20% growth each quarter, which felt aggressive but manageable with the team and systems that we were building. So throughout this journey, one thing that helped me navigate decisions was using first principles thinking. Instead of copying what competitors do or following gurus blindly, I tried to break problems down always to the basics. For marketing and business, first principles are questions like, who is my customer really? What do they want? What value can I provide to meet that want? How does money actually flow into my business? And by answering these, I essentially designed my own funnel from the ground up. Yes, I learned from experts. You've heard me quote a few and modeled some proven strategies, but I always adapted them to fit the fundamental truths of my business. For example, first principles told me that if students just care about jobs, then focusing on job outcomes, which is the offer and the curriculum, was a non-negotiable. It told me that in a world of abundant information, attention is scarce. So I must earn the attention by giving value freely. It told me that trust is hard to gain and easy to lose. So being transparent and authentic in my content is vital, and it reminded me that at the end of the day, a business works when revenue exceeds cost in a sustainable way, which comes right back to funnel economics and not overextending. So whenever you're confused by trendy tactics, come back at first principles, ask, what does my customer really need to believe and experience at every step before they buy? That question alone can guide you to fix a leaking funnel. Maybe they need to believe that your product works, so you add in more proof. Maybe they need to experience a quick win, so you create a free tool for them. This kind of thinking is what helped me pivot and iterate Sigma School through various failures until the funnel finally clicked for me. So the final part to what I want to share here is to scale. Once you have a working funnel, how do you pour fuel on the fire responsibly? And for us, scaling up meant a few things: increasing ad spend, building a larger team, and systemizing operations so that quality stays high with more volume. And I mentioned earlier, I had to focus on people, product, and process, essentially building an organization that could handle growth. We went from just me to a team of 15 plus by 2023, including instructors, customer support, marketing folks. Each new stage of growth revealed weak points. Sometimes our customer support lagged or our website needed revamping to handle more traffic. Scaling isn't just about straight line upwards. It comes in steps and plateaus. So my approach was to scale in spurts, then fortify, grow, stabilize, improve, then grow again. One important element is confidence. You can hear all this and still feel scared to take the leap. So I was cautious by nature, finance background, remember, right? What gave me confidence is to aim for big goals, like our current ambition to be 100 million ringgit per year company was seeing the funnel work on a small scale first. When you get proof of concept, even making your first 10,000 ringgit from strangers on the internet, it's like a curtain lifts. Even make you realize that this can work. Then making 100,000 ringgit seems plausible, then 1 million ringgit, and so on. So each level becomes a new normal, and I encourage you to start small but intentional. Get your first funnel version out there and make your first few sales. Use the momentum to set bolder targets. My personal journey went from, I hope I can just make a living online, to now maybe this can be 7-figure business in 2022. And after that, the first 100K came in, then it became, let's aim for 9 figures and truly build a long-lasting institution for myself and my team. So dream big, but base those dreams on data and systems that you've tested. And that combination of imagination plus real-world feedback is incredibly powerful. And remember, scaling a business is a means to an end. And for me, the end was never just money. It was the impact that we could have. Every time we double our student intake, that's a dozen more lives completely impacted and changed. And more people breaking into tech, more families impacted. Keeping that mission at the forefront and surrounding yourself with a team of people who believes in it will keep you sane and grounded as you push for growth. All right, so let's wrap up. Let's recap the key points here. You've learned what a marketing funnel is and why it's the backbone of any successful customer acquisition strategy. You've seen why traffic alone isn't the answer. The real magic is in conversion and having an offer that makes people act. You know how crucial it is to warm up prospect with real value, which is basically giving before you ask. And you understand that the power of a compelling offer paired with a risk reversing guarantee makes it a no-brainer for your customer. You recognize the need for proof and trust building is especially if you want to sell something high ticket or new. You're aware that delivering on your promises is part of marketing. It's cheaper to delight a customer and have them refer others than to constantly find new suckers, which never ends well. You've got an overview of different funnel types that you can use and the importance of crunching the numbers so you can scale confidently. And underlying it all, you see how thinking from a first principles and focusing on fundamentals will guide you better than chasing every shiny marketing trend. Thank you for watching this far. I hope that you find these insights helpful. This is literally what I've learned over the past few years. And remember, traffic is out there in abundance. You just need to engineer a system to turn it into paying customers by focusing on what really matters. Offer, trust, and value. Approach your business problems with first principles, but be patient, but persistent in optimizing your funnel. And don't be afraid to stand for something and guarantee it. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about how we build businesses, or you're interested in tech and entrepreneurship, hit that subscribe button for more videos. I share candid lessons from the startup trenches every week, basically. And if you're personally looking to break into tech or upskill, definitely check out Sigma School. It's the coding school that I wish I had when I first started out. We have that money back guarantee if you don't get a job, an amazing community, and a track record we're really proud of. So the links are in the description. Until next time, keep learning, keep building, and I'll see you in the next video.